Good day, everyone. Good day, everybody out there in Radio Land. We got everything cooking up right now. How's everybody doing? What a beautiful morning. What a beautiful day today. Look at that clear blue sky. Everything's looking fantastic. And it looks like everything's working good. Hey, it doesn't get better than this in the morning on 4680Q Radio. Paul K. Lemire, your city, your voice, coming to you live. And here we are again, finally Friday. Oh, I love this weather. I know it's only in the 40s. It's a little bit chilly out there, to throw a coat on. You might want to throw a hat on. I didn't bother wearing a hat today. It's not that cold. And with the sun out, it's gorgeous if you're sitting in the sun, believe me. So get out there, enjoy the sun, get your vitamin D. That's what I say, get your vitamin D. It's going to rain, I think, on the weekend maybe, but the weather's supposed to stick around the 40s. I think the weather's supposed to stick around the 40s. A little chilly this morning when I got up at 5. It was 34 degrees. A little chilly, but it's getting up there today. It's getting up there, and the week's supposed to be into the mid 40s, low 40s, mid 40s, which is seasonable. It's the way it is this time of year. March 21st, we're at today. I think I'm not wrong, and I think it's the official start of spring. If I'm not wrong, I could be wrong. Who knows? I don't know these dates that well. I just hear things. That's the way I operate. But yeah. There's not going to be a real big warming trend. That 76, 78 degrees we had the other day was kind of like one of a kind for now. But we're in the right direction. We're headed in the right direction, and that's what's key. And yeah, we have a lot to talk about today. A little bit about city council, not much. I mean, a little bit about Canadians. The regular stuff we talk about. It's just there's so much happening right now, whether it's in Canada with this election coming up, whether it's in the United States with Trump cleaning house down there and really, really getting this country back together, the United States after 4 years of abuse. Something that we have to do in Canada after 10 years of abuse. Hopefully we can do it. We have the prime minister that can do it after the election comes down the pipe. April 28th, they're saying. That's the date I keep hearing, but it could be May 5th. But either way, we're having an election. And we got to get the right guy in there, and we got to make sure we get out and vote. Before we get into the show, let's talk about my sponsors. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. And sounds like pizza. I like to say it Pete's. It's Pete's, like the person, Pete. Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, and Hamill Machine Company, of course, in Niagara Falls. So we look at this weather. What a great opportunity to take your car in, get it looked at before the good weather comes in. And you don't want it breaking down or anything. Get everything checked. Ken Hunter down at Wild Bill's is offering a free spring inspection. Get your car checked out and, make sure all your systems are go. And at the end of the day, you're not going to break down. You're going to have happy motoring for the summer. Everything's going to be cool. You want to get your car checked out. You want to be proactive. And if you get in a wreck, he's got a nice little body shop there that can straighten you out, and he'll have your car in and out in showroom condition after a minor or major collision, for that matter. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Go to wildbillsauto.ca and support our sponsors because they support the city. I mean, Wild Bill's, he sponsors this Cruising on the Q every year. Big sponsor of that. He does a lot for the city. So, we want to support our people who support the city, and Wild Bill's is one of them. And while you're in there supporting Wild Bill's and supporting the city and supporting our sponsors, don't forget to support the show over here. I think it's over here. I can't remember if it's over here or over here. But either way, subscribe to the channel. Come on, it helps the algorithm get me out there to a lot more people. And a lot more people have the chance to watch the show. A lot more people can sign up and subscribe. Tell your friends, share the show. Get your friends signing up. The more, the better. We want to get people involved. We got 2 elections coming up. We just had one. We got 2 more. We want to make sure that we get everybody out there. They know what's going on, and they can get out there and vote for who they want, so we get the governments that we deserve, not the governments that are handed to us. So, yeah, share the show. Subscribe. It costs nothing to subscribe. Subscribe, share the show. Be part of it. Why not? You got nothing to lose. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can watch the show, even if it's to call me a jerk, a goof, a dummy, an idiot. I don't care. Have a good time. Have a good time. So I don't have a lot about city council. We talked about that yesterday, and of course Monday, and a little bit Tuesday. But I just thought of one thing that I never mentioned yesterday, and I was laughing when I saw this. Like the city council is pretty wild. There's a lot of time wasted on stuff, and at $1,600 an hour, we don't want to be wasting time. But this was good. They were talking about um, uh, rats and rodents and that kind of thing, and people putting food out, don't put food out, coyotes, and which is a good idea because if you put food out, rats and mice get it. Where there's rats and mice, there's coyotes because they eat the rats and mice. And Counselor No-Dos, Tony Baldinelli, got up and he had the. I don't know why. I have no idea. Told a story about the time he saw a coyote jumping one of those big walls that separate the backyards from the QEW. You know those big walls? That's what it sounded like he was talking about when I heard the story when he told. You saw a coyote jump over one of those, and I'm going, wow, that's a heck of a jump. Those things are pretty high. That's one hell of a jump right there, Tony, you saw. And I was laughing my head off when he was telling this story because it had nothing to do with anything. That was the reason I was laughing because it wasn't really a funny story. It was just like, why is he getting up and telling this story about coyotes jumping a wall? And then I thought, didn't they close that mushroom place on Queen Street? Like, I thought they closed that down. and that was the end of his story anyway. And I'm sitting here going, wow, I mean, like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But he is compelled to tell this story about the coyote jumping the wall. And I thought there might be a joke with it. There's a punchline or something, maybe. No, there wasn't. He saw a coyote jumping over this wall, and the mushroom store's closed on Queen Street, I guess. I don't know. That's a big jump for a coyote, a small step for coyote, but a big step for all coyotedom. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's our city council working hard on your behalf. So, only hokey Canadians could come up with this. Can someone please tell me what elbows up means and why Canadians are using it to address tariff woes? I don't get it. I don't even get what it means, elbows up. I mean, to me, elbows up. Boom, you're doing a shot of booze. Boom, elbows up. Yeah, bottoms up. Elbow bending. Heard of that. Elbows up on the bar. Long belly up to the bar. I need a drink after trying to figure this out. What the elbows up? What that has to do with tariffs? In racing, it means driving aggressively. Elbows up, you're driving aggressively. In baseball, it's a no-no. Your back elbow is up. The bat's in an awkward position. You can't swing it right. So you got to keep your elbow down. You don't want to keep it up. Now, loose skin on your elbow. If you got loose skin on your elbow right here, loose skin, you know what that's called? A weenus. That's right. So Canadians, you get your elbow up, and I can see your weenus. Now, to give somebody the elbow is to make a hostile gesture. I mean, I thought some other things like the middle finger was a hostile gesture, and I've seen this one. I mean, that one there. But elbows up is to make a hostile gesture, and this is this what we're trying to do with the U.S.? Give them a hostile gesture? Well, we really don't want to do that, do we? We really want to get along. We want to we don't want to negotiate something good with them. We don't want to give them a hostile gesture. Sometimes it's a cue that parents say because they want to say something that sounds smart, but they don't know anything else to say. So I guess when they're watching their kid play hockey, elbows up or whatever, I don't know. I mean, this probably does apply to Canadians in hockey, I guess. Something to say that sounds smart because they don't know anything else to say? I don't get it. Either way, it doesn't sound as good as Make America Great Again. That sounds a lot better than Elbows Up, doesn't it? It's a kind of a like a hick kind of saying that nobody understands. Kind of like Canadians in Canada really, maybe they understand. Nobody else in the world would understand this. I don't even get it. Like, and the reference to Gordie Howe is also way off base. I mean, who remembers Gordie Howe that was born after 1975? If you were born after 1975, do you remember Gordie Howe? I remember him. I mean, you might as well use Tim Horton. They probably remember him better because he opened the coffee shops. They don't even know he played hockey. If it wasn't for Tim Horton's coffee, they wouldn't even know there is a Tim Horton. I don't know. I don't get it, but all I can say is elbows off the table, you hosers. Throw on your hockey sweater, grab a 2-4, jump in your car, do 30 clicks, grab your pogey check and a beaver tail for a toonie, and head down to the hockey match. Elbows up, eh? Yeah, somebody I don't get it, but that's Canadiana, I guess. Elbows up. You know, we talked about this before in the Niagara Falls here. I never realized that Niagara Falls doesn't have a hospice. I don't know why. I just took it for granted that most cities have hospice, and then Niagara Falls would have it as well. And I just assumed there was somewhere in the falls people could go. Hospice are important for the comfort of people who aren't going to make it. And I know council is looking into one, but this week at the meeting, they announced that their application to the province for a hospice was unsuccessful. And I'm going, gee, why would it be unsuccessful? Niagara Falls, 105,000 people. We definitely should have a hospice here. But the province recently had an intake where they were looking at giving the rights to build 60 to 70 hospice beds somewhere. We put in an application, but unfortunately, we weren't selected. And that's. I mean, it was weird that we don't have one. I just find that strange. Fort Erie has one. St. Catharines has them. I mean, Niagara Lake, I think, even has them, but we don't. So what City Council did was provide direction to the Penguin CAO Jason Burgess to get a hold of Sylvia Jones, the Minister of Health, to discuss the situation and find out why. Now, Councillor Peter Angelo thinks the city's bid for hospice was denied because they weren't shovel ready. He thought, like if we were ready to go, we had it all planned out. We had the land and how we were going to build it, plans for the building and that kind of thing, that we might have got the money. So since we don't, we probably didn't. They gave it to somebody who was ready to go. So what this means is council is going to have to find a place and plan it, I guess. So that's going to be the goal, I guess, for staff. Find a place, plan it, have everything ready to go, then apply, and then get our grant to be able to build it. I mean, if that's the way we have to go, let's get her done. Don't even fool around with this. We need it. Come on, let's go get the staff on it right away. And a report from Jason Burgess, the CAO, I call him the Penguin, should clarify exactly why Niagara wasn't approved. So he's got to ask the minister, what the hell happened? Why weren't we approved? And we got to hope it's not political. Like they keep saying we don't get things because our guy here who represents the city at Queen's Park is not part of the prevailing power, party that's in power, the prevailing power. So we don't get things that otherwise we might get. Now, I hope that's not the case because that's sad. Niagara, I mean, we're the second largest municipality in the region. I mean, we should have one. And like I say, I'm really surprised we don't, but hey, there it is. let's hope council will get their act together and get one here ASAP. And if we need plans, if we need land, I mean, come on, we could surely find a plot of land that the city has or somewhere that we have that we could put it and make it work. So let's go on that one. I think that's very important. And if we lost out because we didn't have plans or a piece of property, or even worse, because of political affiliations, that's sad. That's really sad. Okay, so the lunatic left-wing goofballs are not limited to sanctuary states in the United States. The butthurt psychos run wild in Canada as well. And I always knew this, and I always said this, but now they're proving it. You know, we thought it was just the Trump TDS Trump people that were whacked. Oh, no. There's a whack of Canadians that have TDS, and now they have MDS, Musk derangement syndrome. So mental health professionals are now saying that TDS and MDS are actual mental problems. They're mental conditions like any other derangement syndrome. The hatred of President Trump is so intense that it impairs people's normal rational judgment and forces them to abandon all logic and reason due to this intense hatred. And now Elon Musk is a part of it, and there's no logic to it. Case in point, Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, Tesla dealership vandalized, 80 brand new Teslas damaged, including scratches and punctured tires. So this wasn't by accident. Somebody went to do this, and the reason they did it was because of Trump's Musk's integration with Trump in Doge. Know what that has to do with Canada? Nothing. But the problem is these people have a problem. They're deranged. That's the problem. Musk has no connection to tariffs, yet they're firebombing parked Teslas, burning them. They're firebombing Tesla dealerships, painting them, protesting them. They're burning up the charging stations. They're putting swastikas on Cybertrucks. And I had a guy on the internet this morning on Facebook saying that, like he's a Nazi. That's why they're painting swastikas on him. Are these people, they're insane. I keep telling you, if you run into one of these people, just cut off the dialogue from them and move away. They're dangerous, these people. They're burning stuff. I mean, this doesn't make any sense because Trump was the darling of these left-wing lunatics. Remember climate change and global warming and electric vehicles and all electric everything, windmills and solar farms, solar panel farms. And he was their darling. I mean, you invented the electric car. It's going to save greenhouse gases. He's going to save humanity. Now all of a sudden, he was appointed by Trump as the head of Doge. Now they're firebombing his cars. I mean, when they burn, they really pollute the air. Did you ever see one of these things go up? Imagine 20 or 30 of them. It's getting so bad that car shows don't allow Tesla vehicles in the show for fear these terrorists will start them on fire and burn the whole show down. I mean, it's really getting crazy out there. At times, I think I don't even want one, but at times I think I should just buy one just to support Musk. But if I had it, I'd probably get it vandalized. People are getting them vandalized now by these lunatics. And you know what's really hilarious about it all? Think about it. Who buys these cars, Teslas? I can guarantee you that every tree-hugging left-winger owns these cars. Now, who's burning these cars down? Every tree-hugging left-wing loony liberal or Democrat. So they're burning their friends' cars. People who are on their side, they're burning all their cars down. It kind of reminds me back in the days of the Rodney King thing in L.A., where the blacks who were mad at the whites, They didn't march into Beverly Hills and start burning Beverly Hills up. What they did was they burned down Compton and Watts. They burned down all their black neighborhoods and robbed their black stores. It doesn't make sense. If you're mad at the white guy or the Rodney King incident, go burn down Beverly Hills. Why are you burning down your own neighborhoods? I mean, your people are trying to build something with businesses and everything, and you're burning them out. That's not the people you're mad at. Why are you burning them out? Same with these Teslas. Most of these people are owned by the people who agree with these left-wing loonies, and they burn their cars. It's so ridiculous. It's comical. It's comical, to be honest with you. But U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi isn't fooling around. The Justice Department has arrested 3 people in relation to some of these burnings, violent destruction of Teslas, they call it. And she's vowing to bring charges against these nitwits and hammer them to the full extent of the law. Maybe even calling them domestic terrorists by doing this kind of stuff. They have cameras all over them. Side cameras, front cameras. They have cameras all over. That's how they self-drive. So all these guys are on cameras. They're going to get them all. Just the dealerships have the cameras all over. But the poor guy in Hamilton now, he's going to have to go out and buy fencing to surround all his Teslas that are parked because people are going to go in there and burn them and scratch them and puncture their tires and everything. I mean, they were seen being moved out, some of them, to another location because of it. I mean, how ridiculous. They're not hurting anybody but themselves. And these lunatics who say they like to see Tesla go to business, I mean, that's putting hundreds of thousands of people out of business. It's ridiculous. Why? I mean, Musk doesn't even work. He's not elected or anything. He's just trying to save taxpayers' money. It just is ridiculous. They have TDS. I'm telling you, they're deranged. So all these dealerships, now they have to do it. These terrorists have to be really stupid and deranged people. They're going to get caught because of all the cameras, and they're going to go to jail, and they're going to be charged under maybe terrorism, and then that's a felony, a federal charge, and they're going to jail for a long time. And I hope they round up these loonies in Hamilton too. Good thing there aren't any Chinese cars in Canada. None that I know of, anyway. There might be. I don't know. I haven't seen one yet. Imagine the damage inflicted when these fools find out that China has just put a 100% tariff on some of Canada's agricultural goods. If 25% gets you the Tesla damage, what's 100% going to get you if they find out? Then again, the media isn't telling them about China, only about anything to do with Trump. So there you go, right? When are they going to go firebomb other places on April 1st when the carbon tax comes on and everything else? Although now we've got, what's his name, Art Carney, Nutty. He's going to take it off. He's copycatting Polyev, but I'll talk about that later. Oh, so, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, running amok. Political terrorism is fine with the Democrats as long as it's against Republicans. This was being done by the right wing. It would be wall-to-wall coverage. The news wouldn't stop covering it. They'd be blaming Trump. They still are anyway. Now, Tampon Tim, the biggest loser I've ever seen, was cheering for Tesla stock prices to drop on the markets and go broke. This guy's a real idiot. Well, I hope he shorted the stock and took his own advice that he wants it to break. It's going down because now the stock's coming back, and he's gonna lose large if he bet the drop. I hope the moron shorted it large. That would make me very happy. But that's what's happening. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't get it. Like, what kind of people are these? They're whacked. Let's get to my second sponsor, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. And if you want a good pizza, believe me when I tell you, Pete's Pizza is the place to go. Now, Mike has been running this franchise from it started with the Mancini family 40 years ago, St. Catharines, And he uses their recipe for sauce. He uses their recipe for crust. It's fantastic. It's unbelievable. But the key is not having the sauce and crust is good, but knowing how to mix them in the right ratio on the pizza with really good blends of Saputo mozzarella and brick cheese. That's the way. That's the secret right there. And Mike knows how to do it. He makes a phenomenal pie, but if you want chicken wings, he makes great chicken wings. If you want steak and cheese poutine, he makes all kinds of poutine. He has panzerotti. He has steak subs. He has everything there. I mean, it's got a full menu. No matter what you like, you're going to find something at Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. How do you get this wonderful food? Well, you just dial 905-374-2222. You go online to petespizzavictoria.ca to look at their menu. You give them a call. You order it. Beautiful ingredients, fresh ingredients, hot to your door. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. They're open till 2 in the morning for your convenience. Yeah. And I think right now on Wednesdays, they have a tray of pizza with 3 items for like $19.99. Now you have to look at their menu, but I believe that's what the special is. So one of the specials, they have all kinds of combos in there. Pete's Pizza Victoria Avenue, support our sponsors because they support the show, and we thank them for supporting the show, and we thank you for supporting the show, and we thank you for supporting our sponsors, and we thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you very much. Big thank you. So Art Carney, Norton, can't create his own platform, so what's he doing? He's going to steal Pierre Poilievre's platform. Yep, that's what he's going to do, and he's going to present it to Canadians as his own. What a jabroni. Seriously, this guy is something else. First, he steals Pierre's Axe the Tax. Yeah, he's going to cut the carbon tax. He's going to cut it on homes, not industry, I think. So, what does that mean for you? Absolutely nothing, because liberals are tax and spend animals. If he takes that away, he's going to hit you with something else. You just know it. That's the way they work. It's in their character. They're not going to take anything away. They love tax and spend, tax and spend. They never give you anything back, ever. If they give you anything back, you know damn well they're making billions on you. That's why they can give a little bit back, like the carbon tax. Oh, Trudeau, we're giving the carbon tax back. Most people are getting more than they pay when they go out and buy stuff. Baloney. If it's revenue neutral, then why would you even have it? Just take it off and let us have our money and spend it. Yeah, it isn't. Believe me, they're making money. But Art Carney, yep, he's gonna take it off. See our prime minister now? I guess he is, unfortunately. But yep, and now he saw another good idea Pierre had. This idea is take off the somebody's blowing me kisses out there. I have fans all over the place. Take off the GST off of homes under $1 million. Yep, you buy a home under $1 million, you don't have to pay GST. That's another one of Pierre's ideas he stole. Now he's going to do that. I mean, they'll lie, cheat, and steal to get their way, the liberals. It drives me crazy. What's next? Deregulation and free markets, tax cuts and limits on immigration. Are we going to hear that from Art Carney? I don't know. If Pierre says it, then he probably will adopt it. But yeah, because he can't think of his own platform. His only own platform is to grab as much money as he can. But he can't tell you that. Because if he does, you're not going to vote for him. But never mind the baloney, Norton. Let's see your financials. You screwed up Britain and Canada. Let's see your investments in the U.S. Come on, that's full disclosure here. Full disclosure. Are you going to be working for the best interests in Canada and Canadians? Right? I mean, I think he took his business and moved it to New York State. How's that standing up for Canadian workers? The guy's a fraud and a phony. Let's face it. He's going to be an extension of Trudeau, and he's probably going to be worse. All those failed policies, they're going to be worse. There's going to be more. Carney even admits he has a conflict of interest with all his holdings, but says he's going to deal with it after he's elected. After he's elected, you're going to straighten it all out. Well, no. This is the way it works. You straighten it all out, and then we'll elect you. How about that? Right? How about that? Disclose everything, straighten it out, and then we'll vote for you. If you can't do it by April 28th when you're going to call the election for, bye-bye. You're out of luck. You're out of luck. Guy's a joke. I mean, who in their right minds could vote for this guy? Seriously. I don't understand it. But you know what? We're in Canada. We're in Canada. And you know, these liberals, they have the media bought and paid for. So you're not going to hear anything about PP. Everything's going to be about Carney from now on. They've got the special interest groups that they've bent over backwards for. They've got all the immigrants going to be, because they're paying them big money, they're going to be voting for them. The public service unions, every single one of them has sweetheart deals. And when you got sweetheart deals going, guess what? How are you going to vote against the goose that laid the golden egg? You don't want to ruin your golden egg. And you got all just liberals who vote liberal no matter what. They don't care who it is. They just vote liberal. And, you know, they've hired, 150,000 people for federal government. They've expanded federal government by a whole whack of people. They let millions of immigrants in. They're going to get all their votes, and they want them to all to be able to vote in this election. So you think that PP is going to win? Well, think again. And if he wins a minority government, they're going to gang up on him and Jimmy Dollywall. They're going to gang up on him, and guess what's going to happen? He's going to be out in a year. Non-confidence vote, and away he goes. They're going to gang up on him. So he's got to win a majority. So I'm going to tell you, you got to vote for PP, and you got to get 10 other people to vote for PP. That's the only way. And I love Max Bernier to death. I wish he would be prime minister. I'd love to see him in that chair, but I just don't think he can do it. And it's going to be very tough to give him a vote when we got to get rid of this liberal. Got to get rid of this liberal. Okay, on to Trump. He signed an executive order to do something that really needs to be done in Ontario. He signed the executive order for the United States. So that's another thing Carney did. Signed that order there, like, oh, he's signing it. It means absolutely nothing. He's trying to be Trump, signing an executive order. Oh, yeah, there's no such thing in Canada. It's all bull. It's all for the cameras. These guys are fakes. They're phonies. But Trump isn't. He signed an executive order, and he said he's going to dismantle the Department of Education as a federal entity and send education back to the states where it belongs. This is huge, as every state knows what they need. They know way better than some bureaucrats sitting in an office in Washington, D.C. So that's fantastic. And he had what the hell's her name? Vince McMahon's wife from WWE, Linda McMahon, running it. And he said, what I want you to do is put yourself out of a job. That's what I want you to do. I want you to take this thing, get it going, get it out of there so that you don't have a job. It's all straightened out. And Linda's right in there. She knows what she's doing. Smart lady. Real smart lady. Now, in Ontario, we run 2 school boards, the Catholic and public school systems. It's a giant waste of taxpayer dollars. I mean, we pay the tab, and we're paying 2 buses, 2 superintendents, 2, double. This is a Tim Hortons thing, double. Everything's double, like the region and the municipalities, double. It costs us a fortune for the education systems. They double up everything. It's a colossal waste of money. Now, I have no problem with schools, and I have no problem with schools that teach religion. They should be funded privately by those that want to send their kids to these kind of schools, not by the taxpayers. We need one secular school system. The public and Catholic system should be merged into one system, the public school system. And if you want religion taught, the churches can run Sunday schools like they used to. Um, and the secular system could include French schools, which is fine if you want to send your child to a French school. But there's no religious element to it. It's just French. Everything's done in French, so your child can learn French. Save tens of millions, or hundreds of millions of dollars probably, and put the responsibility for the Catholic schools on those that use them. Either take your child and the child goes to a Catholic school on Saturdays at the church to learn religion, or are they're private schools to run like private schools, and you pay big money to go to them. That's what should happen. I mean, changes are coming. They're coming in the States. It's an ongoing issue. And if we get a leader and they have Doge looking into it, they'll find out there's a lot of money to be saved for the taxpayers by merging these two school systems together. There's no reason for it. No reason for it. Just costs taxpayers a ton of money. Where's our Doge? Where's our Doge? We have Doge in Niagara Falls. You know that, right? Oh no, it's not working for the mayor or city hall, but we have Doge out in the streets watching the city. We have Doge agents watching the city spending money. They report to Doge Niagara on Facebook. Join Doge Niagara on Facebook. Go DOGE Niagara, and you'll get there. Become a member, and you see any shenanigans, or you have a way that people can save the city money, save us taxpayers money. You put it on there, and maybe they'll start listening at City Hall. Who knows? They should have their own Doge down there. I found probably $50 million you could save. You know? So, other big news in the U.S. The JFK files have been released, and stories are starting to come out as sleuths pour over the 80,000 pages of information, unredacted. That's right. No black lines through it. You're getting the real deal, exactly like it was written by the CIA, FBI, or whatever other agency was handling information. Now, some are eye opening, and they're directly related to Oswald and the CIA involvement in the assassination. Um, they're all on the web, but there's a lot there. I think you go to gov.org or something, and it'll take you to these pages, or you can just Google FBI, Kennedy files or Kennedy files, and there's a lot there, though. I mean, there's a lot, 80,000 pages to go through. So it's a lot. People are going through it now who have time. That's what they do for a living, is they go through this stuff. But for us, it's tougher. But it does, from what I've saw already, it does indicate some kind of a conspiracy, and we're going to find out more about that. I mean, for the public, we really should know what happened that day in Dallas. I mean, historians and scholars are getting a real-time look at JFK and the Cold War. And the Cold War started in 1947 after the Second World War, as the alliance between the Allies and Soviet Union started to fall apart. And the Soviet Union were our allies in the war. They were fighting the Germans, same as us. They were fighting them on their front, the Russian front, or we're fighting in Africa and in Europe. And they were a big reason that the Germans fell too, as they spread themselves too thin. I mean, Dave Wheeler will correct me. I'll guarantee you. He'll give me some history on this one. But basically, the Cold War was a time when the rivalry between the Allies escalated against Russia to the point of a nuclear war, and included the Korean War and the Bay of Pigs invasion into Cuba and the Vietnam War, the Cuban Missile Crisis. There was a lot going on. The domino theory said that if one country fell, the other one would fall. So they went in and they made sure that Vietnam and that kind of thing didn't fall to communism. That's what they were there for. Right or wrong, that's why they were there. And they were there to ensure it didn't happen. But, as we know, it did. Of course, space was an important arena. So the space race started in the late 50s as rockets and jet engines were developed. And of course, the Russians sent their man into space. What was his name? Yuri Gurgevin or something? Yuri Gurgov or something. But anyway, he went in there, and the United States had to follow up right away. And after they followed up, President Kennedy, when he was elected, said, "We are going to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade." Not because it's easy, but because it is hard. I don't think he realized how hard it was because they never really did it. The Cold War and the space race was so important to America and Russia. Um, they wanted to have dominance in space for a lot of reasons. And the United States said they were going to put a man on the moon, and then they found out they couldn't. So what were they going to say? We failed? They didn't want to say that because it would affect the space race. And so what they did was they filmed it and said it was real. And I know a lot of people are going to say that's a conspiracy theory and that, but I mean, there's so much evidence. I wish they would release the true evidence of this moon landing. That would be interesting. But I digress. I digress. The scholars are poring over these files, finding out exactly what Oswald, the CIA, and the mafia were up to as far as the Russians and Cubans go. And they also want to find out what forces needed the president gone. Who wanted him out of there? And then who in turn, who pulled the triggers in Dallas? I mean, this is going to get really interesting over the weeks and months. Stay tuned. I'm waiting for more information. And there's more coming out every day. So just stay tuned. Go to YouTube, type in Kennedy files, and people are opening them up all the time and getting into there and these files and reading the different relationships between Oswald and Mexico City and when he wanted to go to thing and the CIA hiring the mob to kill Castro. All these things that have been said over the years are true. And now we're getting the proof right from the CIA. Now it appears that Trump is moving forward on voiding pardons for most of the people Biden pardoned. And the reason is because he signed them by autopen. And there's no indication even that he was around to sign some of these. As a matter of fact, he was in, I think, South Carolina or something when 4 or 5 documents were signed by autopen. He couldn't even have signed them. He wasn't in Washington. And they're figuring that all of them were signed by autopen because Biden, number one, couldn't sign them. And number two, he didn't even know what was being signed. So all of these, the whole thing of Liz Cheney, Shifty Shift, Anthony the mass murderer, Fauci, all these pardons, these preemptive pardons, Biden, Hunter Biden, Jim Biden, his sister Biden, everybody, Biden, they're all pardoned preemptively. In other words, it's not that they've done anything wrong, but it's in case anybody takes them to trial and find they really have done anything wrong, like Hunter, that they don't have to be prosecuted for it. Now, these are all null and void because they're signed by autopen and not by real hand signed and signatures. And they're going to go after them. They say they're going to go after them. Liz Cheney, the whole bunch of them. I mean, I hope Shifty Shift goes first. I hope Shifty Shift goes first. He was the Russia, and everything. He's a slime bag. But it means absolutely nothing if there's no arrests forthcoming. I mean, that's the whole thing with this. Yap, talkity. It's great to talk, but unless they actually arrest somebody and throw them in the hoosgow, it really doesn't mean a lot. It really doesn't mean a lot because at the end of the day, I mean, like there's got to be arrests. This guy's got to be arrested. They got to be put away. I mean, that's the same with anybody. Anybody who's tied up in this, who's involved in this, anyone who got pardoned. Like they got to start launching trials against them, arresting them, indicting them, whatever, impeaching them, and then they got to take them to trial. And one of the ones is that General Miley. He's another one, and we have to get him under court martial. That guy. I mean, he's had his security clearance revoked. He's now being investigated for his conduct after calling President Trump a fascist. Now, Trump's accused Miley of treason for his calls with the Chinese counterparts during the final weeks of the Trump first presidency, including in the wake of the alleged riot at the Capitol building. Now, Miley used one of these calls to assure China that the U.S. would not use a nuclear attack against them. Why would you call your enemy and tell them that? Well, it doesn't even make sense. You're a general in the U.S. Army and you're calling China to tell them this? I mean, if you're authorized to say that, yeah, but he wasn't. And that's called undermining the chain of command, which is corrosive to national security. So he could be in big trouble for this little jaunt he took, and there's going to be a lot more people investigated. I mean, he's one of the ones that's probably going to go down. Schiff is going to go down. Cheney's going to go down. AOC could go down. A lot of these people could go down. Iman could be deported. Tlaib should be deported. They all should be deported. They've all broken the law, and I think the justice system is going to go after them. I mean, you've got people in there now who are with Trump, and they're not monkeying around. They're taking every one of these people to task. So it could happen. Now, Miley was given a preemptive pardon by Biden, just like everybody else. So as soon as you admit it, you admit you're guilty of something. As soon as you take it, you accept it. But once they're avoided because of the signing by AutoPen, then these guys are wide open and under the gun once again to be indicted, investigated, and arrested. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Over to my third sponsor, Hamel Machine Company. Now, every city, everywhere, needs a good machine shop to be able to help their industry fix problems. So if something breaks down in some business and they need a new part, where do they go? They can't wait 6 weeks and shut everything down for it to come from Europe or Japan or wherever it's coming from. So what do? They go to Hamel Machine Shop, a company like Hamel Machine Shop, and they ask them, can you fix this? They fix it. They rekey it. They weld it. They make it like new. And if they can't fix it, they can redo it for you. They can actually create the part for you, make it. And rather than waiting 6 weeks, you wait 3 or 4 days and you're back up and running. So that's how important these machine shops are to small business. And Hamel Machine has been around since 1948, helping small business and large business in Niagara Falls. They've grown from a small machine shop to a worldwide leader in inventing, fabricating new equipment that helps them save time and money. It's unbelievable what they do. And they do it for Rich's products. They've designed new products, new pieces of equipment to help them with their industry, with their processing. They've done it for the wineries. They've done it for the agricultural sector, harvesting, hydroponics. Yeah, they've come up with so many different inventions. They have electrical engineers, they have designers, they have graphic people. They do 3D printing, they do water jet cutting. They do it all. They really, really do it all. So if you've got a problem around your house, you need something repaired, metal repaired, fixed, fabricated, custom made, doesn't matter. They do it. They do it there. You need new gates for the back of your house, new back gates, they'll do it there. They'll build them for you. Hamel Machine Company, the premier machine company in Niagara Falls, around since 1948. You cannot miss if you have a problem by going to Hamel and having them take care of your problem. They're great people. They support the show, so support them. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. Don't sweat it out. Just go to Hamel. Just go to Hamel Machine. They got a shop right over here on Bridge Street, Houses Welding, and they got one on Kent Avenue, their main place. They're going to take care of you. And we thank Hamel for supporting the show. And we thank you for supporting Hamel. And we thank everyone for supporting Niagara Falls. So over to the Middle East. And I don't sign anything by AutoPen. I use a real pen. In the Middle East, it appears that the whacked out Houthis from Yemen, they don't have any fear of the U.S., these guys. I've never seen a crew like them. They don't care. Now they claim to have attacked a U.S. aircraft carrier. Now, the U.S. says they missed by 100 miles, but this is the propaganda the Houthis throw out there. And they claimed that they've made their third attack on U.S. warships in 48 hours. So, what the problem here is the Houthis in Yemen are right on the Gulf of Aden, and they have access to boats in the Red Sea, and they're blowing them up. They're sending these speedboats out, sending missiles and hitting these ships. So now the carriers, and not the U.S. aircraft carriers, they're not afraid of them, of course. They blow them out of the water, no problem. They take care of the missiles. But the carriers, the big shipping lines, they've decided it's too risky to go through there with these guys shooting at them and pirating them and everything else. So they have to go now around the tip of Africa. Cape of Good Hope, I think it's called. They go around there and then come back up and go to North America or go into the Mediterranean to get to Europe. And it takes 2 or 3 weeks longer, and time is money, of course, and fuel and everything else. So it's making it way more expensive for things and inconvenient for these shipping companies. So the shipping companies want this taken care of right away. Well, Trump's had enough. I'm done with these guys, he said. And he said, okay, we're going to go in. And they started sending bombers from the UK, B-52 bombers. They're clobbering them. They're clobbering them until they're finished with them. And the U.S. officials say the Houthis are well known for their false claims and that they missed these ships by 100 miles. They don't even know what they're talking about. One thing's for sure, the U.S. has been really hammering them in Yemen with tens of thousands of Yemen's hitting the streets with assault rifles and daggers, chanting, "Death to America, death to Israel," in the capital of Sana'a. The U.S. airstrikes aim to end the attacks on the Red Sea and shipping. And basically, the Suez Canal is de facto it's probably shut down for reality is because nobody wants to go through it. And it's not good for shipping. It's not good for prices. It's not good for anything else. So the U.S. is hammering them. And I see guys on Facebook saying, "Oh yeah, we just saw 2 B-52s taken off from England, and they're headed down there. And they go down there and bomb the hell out of them. Then they refuel and come back. They fly over to different bases from around the world. And like Guam might be another big one where some B-52s are. So there's just different places, but yeah, they're taking care of the Houthis, and they told Iran, you better stop funding these guys and get out of that business because you're next. So there you go. To the north, the IDF is eliminating Hamas leaders. It isn't going to stop till all the hostages are released. Now, Hamas said they're going to do a peace deal. They broke it. Of course, they broke it. They always do. And then when they didn't deliver the hostages, all of them, like Trump said a few Saturdays ago, they were supposed to do it. Well, guess what? He gave the IDF, the Israelis, the green light to go in there and clean them all up. So they're doing that. They mobilized their aircraft to hammer Hamas, and they're taking them out. And they got the big leader. I think they got one of their big leaders. And they're not going to stop until they wipe them all out. They've had enough. So, Trump's negotiating with Putin. He's supposed to meet with Putin in Saudi Arabia. Then Putin's supposed to come to America. And then they're going to meet and they're going to end this war in Ukraine. And Zelensky still doesn't want to end the war. There's so much money being made by him. So he's talking about a ceasefire, but he really doesn't want it. Putin's talking about a ceasefire, but there's conditions with him too. So Trump's got his hands full with these guys. I mean, he wants peace, and he's trying to make the deal. But like he said on TV, it takes 2 to tango. It's nice that I want it, but I can't force these guys into a negotiation or a deal. It's got to work for everybody. So, people are yelling, "Oh, he said he was going to end in 24 hours." If everybody agreed, he probably would. He knows what he wants to do and how he wants to do it, but if they don't agree or they can't get along or they don't want to get along there's other forces like the European Union and NATO pushing them, then, there's not much he can do. He's throw sanctions on him and try to get him to come to the table. But he quit. He quit giving. I think he quit giving the Ukraine weapons and money, and that they're finished with that. Although I think we just send them $100 million more or something. It's insane the amount of money Canada's sending these guys. Continue a war that has no use other than to kill people. And I think that's where PP made a big mistake when he said, "I support Ukraine," and meaning Zelensky, rather than "I support peace and I support Trump." He should have said that. That's what people want peace. They want peace. They don't want to support Ukraine anymore. They're continuing a war they're not going to win. But that's the way it is. So what are you going to do, right? I wish PP would change his mind on that one. That's not a good soundbite. Although, what's his name? Art Carney will probably steal that too. I support Ukraine. Well, he probably already has. I mean, they're sending him more money and whatever, and even boots on the ground that Trudeau promised. Wonder if he's going to take that back. Either way. Anyway, let's see what happens on the weekend with all that. Lots going on all the time. There's no shortage of news to report, whether it's from around here, from the region, from Canada, from the United States, from Mexico. Yeah, Mexico's got news too. Peter Hegseth, Department of Defense guy. He went in there and they cleaned up a couple of cartel leaders, got them out of there, cleaned up their laboratories and everything, and he's going to do the whole country if he has to. He's got the green light to do it, so he's in there. They're in there deep. They've closed the border. Immigration over that border now, illegal immigrants are down by like 98% or something. There's a trickle coming over that border, and it's going to be even closed off tighter. It seems like we're finding more and more labs making fentanyl, and people with fentanyl in Canada, they're upping their surveillance and their arrests. We saw a Black Hawk helicopter over here during the week, about sitting at around 1,000 feet, flying over these bridges and down the river. Saw that. That's pretty interesting. So it's happening in Canada. They're working with Trump the best they can for now, and we'll see what happens on April 2nd when these tariffs are supposed to go on. Anyway, just keep your eyes peeled, keep your news in front of you so you know what's going on, because it's moving fast. Things are moving fast right now, and as much as we think that there's going to be peace and all that, I mean, as fast as that could happen, World War III could break out as well. That's the situation we're in right now. So eyes open, watch for stuff going on. You see something reported. I mean, you just have to take the right precautions, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine, but it's wacky out there, so be careful. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This has been Your City, Your Voice. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Subscribe. You'll get notifications when I put the videos up. Support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Get your car in there. Pete's Pizza. Order a nice pizza. Hamlin Machine Shop. Spring's coming up. You might have equipment that needs to be fixed. Take it down there now and get it fixed. They support the show. They support the city. We have to support them. God bless you all. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the weather. I'll see you on Monday with Manic Monday. And I'm sure there's going to be more stories to tell. And see, I'm signing my name. No auto pen here, baby. God bless you all. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday at noon with Manic Monday. Ciao, ciao. Be good.